was there to...
It was gifting you.
Just gifting me. Yes, I was grateful that I'd given attention to it. And I can't say as I, other than that feeling, I can't really say as I felt.
It's all right. It was a feeling, and a joyous feeling, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You did all right. You did all right.
Gave the tobacco, to the racing.
Hey. Okay, sis.
The meditation was very relaxing. I really enjoyed that. I felt the massaging, the touching and stuff. And I was picturing a tree with real thick limbs and stuff. And actually went up into the tree. You can feel the limbs, the wind blowing through and stuff. So it's a really good experience. Right before we went outside, because I'm scared of height, when we came out of the meditation, all of a sudden my head filled up. I don't know what that was. Or
I'm not sure it filled up. Headache? Stuffiness?
no, it was just like a pressure. Blood rushes to your head and you wake up. So, don't know what that was about.
I'm not sure myself.
But when I went outside, I was geared down to the 2 trees out in the front yard. And they kept saying, come here, come here. Not just one tree, but it was both trees were saying, come here. So it was very interesting.
Oh.
So, gave my thanks and wrote the paper and stuff. So.
Very good. Okay, dude.
Well, relaxing is one of the things that I have a great deal of problems with. Because my mind is always racing ahead, trying to get everything done that everybody's tried to get me to do. And even with my own projects. But I finally settled on a tree, and it has become my favorite tree, and it's the one over by the mill, that big pine. And I could see it quite well in my mind's eye. And after you allowed us to get to the tree, and I asked permission, I asked the tree, I'd like to see what you see from where you stand. And it didn't happen immediate, but then all at once I found myself viewing down at the landscape, and I got about a 180-degree view of what the buildings are below and what it sees. It stopped over about the driveway, but I got to see up there what it got to see. It seemed like it was a slow pan. And then it stopped, and I was allowed to come back down. Going outside, I really can't say as I felt drawn to much of anything. And I did end up at the one lone tree out there towards the road. And I thanked it for being there, watching over the animals that come by, and of course the deer all are out in here, and we see quite a few things. But the only thing I felt at that point was it thanked me for acknowledging that I did appreciate that tree being there.
I'd say that that's good enough myself. You satisfied? Well, I tell you folks, you've all experienced in some way something that anybody else would think you're crazy. And I walk in this world. I'm there all the time, at least while I'm awake. And we're not crazy. The Bible is true. God is in all things. And animals can speak, just like that prophet in the Old Testament. The animal said, what did he hit me for? What had I done, basically? And trees can respond to you, and rocks can shout. And Christ exampled that, and it was all written about in the good book. And Indians, which few Indians do have these real experiences, not talk, but really have, it's unfortunate that they feel that they have to hoard it and cherish it as their very own birthright, as an Indian birthright, when indeed this stuff is for anybody who has ever been born, period. And so I have trouble with the Indians who hate me for bringing this stuff forward to you people. And I have trouble with the whites who hate me thinking I'm into the devil and all that crap. And, well, at least I got a bunch here that has experienced things that I experienced. And you know that I'm not crazy. But the same...
We know you're crazy, but you're in light company.
All right. But the same exercise, if you want to do it, we won't do it tonight. But all you got to do is settle down and exercise. You know, just, you've gone through the exercise, you know what's involved, and you know when you tighten up in the spot, loose it down, you know, and all that jazz. And if you want to go see a past event, Christ or whatnot, pick the time and let Dad know as you're relaxing, Dad, I'd like to go back and see Grandma and Grandpa again, something like that. And you'll go back in time and stand there and witness it. Do not jump. If you're standing there witnessing you talking to Grandma and Grandpa or doing something, don't jump into your body. Don't you spiritually jump into that, because you're in time. You're that very real. You're the ghost. And so don't jump into your body back then. It's just don't do it. It's not.
Be an observer only.
Only an observer. Yeah. But you can pick and choose anything you want to see. A year and the events of the year, whether you're my grandchildren or the two grandboys, oh boy, they love going back and watching the dinosaurs. And my little grandson, no, I think it's my oldest grandson. He went back, he wanted to see saber-toothed tiger, and I thought, where are the most that have been located? And it was in Russia. So I taught him how to time travel and how to spirit fly over to the certain area, and he did witness a saber-toothed tiger. And a few nights later he wanted to do it again, and this time he found a male and a female and 3 kits. And he came back, he says, oh, Dad and Grandpa, I want one of those saber-toothed tiger kittens so bad, you know. No. Believe it or not, there is a way that you can go back in physical and do that. But it's one of the things I don't teach.
It's called lunch, isn't it?
Lunch, yeah. But, and...
Tiger grows up, you become his lunch.
Yeah, and there is a way to go back physically and do things. And I don't teach that. And, well, there's a lot of things. But, so, you know how to do time travel. Never go past 3 days ahead. Today is the one mostly related to tomorrow. And you can just about dead center count on what you're seeing in a fast forward mode. You know, you relax. I want to see what's going to happen in my life tomorrow. You might see a car accident, check where, when, what time and stuff. And you can avert that. You can change your future simply by not leaving as soon or going around the block or whatever. And it doesn't happen. It does happen on another parallel time, but it doesn't happen to yours. And you see a quarrel coming and you see it in advance from the night before, you know, during your meditation, during this work, and you can say, wait a minute, honey. We're heading for a quarrel, and I'm not going to have I'm not going to have it. I'm sorry, I love you, but I'm going to go shopping or something. By the way, where's the checkbook, you know? Oh, wow, there you go. But nevertheless, you can find out if it's a run-of-the-mill day, nothing there that you need to work on, and stuff like that. Day 2 is almost as strong as day 1 after today. Day 3, you're starting to get into the edges of probables. Beyond 3, you can't count on it. It's too many probables stretched out. And see, each new day brings the greatest of probabilities, but there's many minor probables. And what you're seeing tomorrow is the very greatest of the probabilities. So you can work on that and change it. But anyway, no, don't go beyond 3 days. It would be very unwise. Anybody listen to these so-called distant viewers, and that's what the whites call what we always call seeing. You know, oh, in the year 12, or what year are we in, 2005? Yeah. I don't know. In the year 2086, it's going to be this way and that way, and they're right. But are they right on, is it in our parallel time? You know? And they talk as if it is. And they got no dang brains. And so never go beyond 3 days. And there are some people who get together and do this, and all of them take the greatest probability overall that they've seen, and they play the stock markets and do quite well. I could do that. But to me, that's self-serving, so I don't do it. Well, it is in the long run. You got to face God. What'd you do with the knowledge I gave you? I got rich. Oh, isn't that nice? And so, no, I don't do that. But I've averted some problems, and I have no problem with that. What's the matter?
No, I'm just listening.
But it's getting late, and yet I would like to teach you, and we can go on a couple of fairly quick healing methods, and work on Betty and work on his brother-in-law and the cancer thing. Now, the first thing that you're going to have to do in this work is each of you, in the best way is personally go and outside or at a couch and use your knees if you can, and talk to Dad and ask him, do you want me to help in any way to help Betty in her shoulder or the brother-in-law? You know, if so, let me know, and still your mind and listen. Some of you will be told no, maybe all of us. But you seek Dad first in all things. You seek what his will is. You don't go out bashing through the woods and it's your will. You know, you're going to get hurt. And I've had groups that we worked together for healing, and 3 of them, or 2 of them, I think, no, they were not to do it. I said, that's good. You stay here and pray for us as we travel, you know, which still kept them in the group. But anyway, find out what Dad wants from each of you individually. And I would recommend that we unhook this for a minute. I have a cigarette. Each one of you pray, see if you're to be part of doing this, if it's to be done. And if it's to be done, I know what to do, God willing, and we'll do it. But all will be partakers of the knowledge of it. You understand? Now, you don't have to take your shoes off this time. You don't need to worry about the lights, because you're going to learn to do this in time, just like riding a tricycle to the big man's bicycle. You can do it as you ride down the road. You'll split. And you'll be paying attention to everything going on around you and be safe, but be somewhere else too. And it's simply relaxation. Now, you're going to, you know the rigmarole. Get relaxed. And in time you'll learn that you can get relaxed without, you know, and draping over your steering wheel at 60 miles an hour. But